All right, everyone. Good afternoon. Merch Hunter Ricky back, and we are talking about One Piece chapter 1081, titled "Let's Go and Claim It." Now, this is probably like I had to get comfortable in my seat and everything because this chapter starts off on a grim, solemn note that Vice Admiral TBONE has been killed by a random civilian in a country that is starving. As we've known before, the Cross Guild has banded together to start putting bounties by the order of Buggy on the heads of Marines. And I believe this was probably actually told him to do this by Crocodile. I have to go back and read that chapter and really remember everything, but this is massive. The fact that they have already started to accrue power in a way that gives the civilians the ability to gain money and wealth off of killing a Marine captain, vice admiral, or even, I doubt it'll ever happen, but let's just say if an admiral is caught slipping and they kill one, obviously that's not going to happen, but possibilities. So right off the jump, that is something massive. That is something, I got to take my glasses off. That is something that we can't just, RIP T-Bone. I got my straight sword out here just for you, man. So anyways, we are then taken to the cafeteria at the Marine headquarters where Suru and Sengoku are lamenting the situation, talking about how this is basically the worst possible outcome for the Marines. The fact that they have to deal with protecting civilians while looking over their shoulder to make sure that they're not backstabbed by those same civilians who might want to turn their body and bounty in to the Cross Guild. This has Sengoku in a foul mood. However, he then, laments Sasuru a little bit, who kind of defends the killer of T-Bone, but not in a way that's actually defending, but understanding the circumstance and situation, how the world government has kind of gotten themselves into this situation by being a corrupt organization, because T-Bone was walking around an impoverished nation that was suffering from specifically starvation. So living in poverty and starving has caused someone to take the ultimate bet on life and kill a Marine Vice Admiral. So that's what happened. Then, as Hina walks into the cafeteria, Sengoku is like, "Yo, where's Garp, Hina? I want to share some rice crackers with him. This is a new flavor." And she straight up tells him, he took sword specifically with Kujaku and they went to Hachinosu. And, you get the what reaction from Suru and Sengoku, and they freak out, rightfully so, because Garp has also, really quick, Garp is now confirmed to not be a member of Sword, so he's not even the leader of Sword. So a lot of those theories, but it happens, But anyways, they freak out. This is not good. And then they fast forward to the Cross Guild. But first, Sengoku makes a point, and he says, and I quote, "We need to neutralize this Cross Guild." So Battle Royale is going to start. Mark my words that Buggy and his Cross Guild will be fighting the Marines first. And to be fair, they threw the first punch. Go figure. Just because Buggy got kicked out of being a warlord, I know they were going to arrest him, so he had no choice but to form a guild and start fighting back, right? That's fine. But then to put the bounties on the Marine heads, that's very ballsy. But I like that kind of stuff, which is why I'm wearing a pirate hat right now, because I'm on Buggy's side here, unfortunately. And we're going to find out in this whole chapter about Buggy's true dream. And as we go further into the chapter, we are now back at Karibari Island, the Empty Bluffs Island. This is where the Cross Guild has set up their base. We see the guy conversing with Buggy who actually killed T-Bone. And he's just like an old elderly dude, and he looks very meek and frail. And, he can't go back to his family now. They talk about it. And, he's happy that Buggy actually paid his family, though. His family is now wealthy. They're not going to starve anymore. They're going to take care of his village. Good for him. I'm not mad at this guy for doing what he did. It sucks that it had to be T-Bone, but the world government and their tithe, making nations pay that property tax or whatever, where they have to pay the money to be a nation, basically, I'm certain that there's a reason why that nation went impoverished, and it has the world government's fingerprints all over it. So this is kind of what it led to. Buggy tells this old man, "Well, you're going to be a pirate now." Buggy's crew is really welcoming to the old man, And they talk about that for a little bit. Then Buggy's ship is ready, the new flagship for the Cross Guild. When he sees it, he immediately starts crying, his teeth come out of his mouth, and sure enough, it's a ship that is just a Buggy themed ship with a big top, circus top and all. The figurehead is Buggy's head, and there's like 2 swords for the Cross Guild. And MIHAWK and Crocodile are like, you expect us to use this ship? Let's go talk about it in the meeting room. And this is probably my favorite panel of the year. I don't care what anyone says. We've had some phenomenal panels, and I've had some favorite chapters. This chapter is not my favorite, but my favorite panel comes from this chapter of Buggy's face when they said, let's go talk about it in the meeting room. It is a look of sheer terror and horror. As we get into the meeting room, we see Buggy is strung up by his head. They've beaten him up. Crocodile's talking about redoing his Utopia plan back in Alabasta, the one he wanted to do, and he needs military might to make this military nation. MIHAWK kind of sarcastically is like, okay, we're going to use our overwhelming power to do that. And Buggy actually has some balls and says, you guys are thinking too small. And then he has a flashback to Shanks and how when Roger died, he did not even attempt to take Shanks' spot or like be Shanks' rival because Shanks, quote unquote, shone so brightly. Like he was shining so bright that Buggy knew the potential that Shanks had outweighed his own. And he actually looked up to Shanks to be the next Pirate King. And when he saw what Shanks' plan was, it kind of broke Buggy's heart, and he never wanted anything to do with Shanks, which honestly, it provides a lot more insight to that whole situation, because if I was Buggy, I would have joined Shanks' crew, but I'm not Buggy, so I can't really say that with 100% certainty, right? But after that, Buggy, we cut back to present, and Buggy is like, I want to be the next Pirate King. He's like bawling, he's crying, he's got Crocodile stepping on his face while he's yelling this, and he somehow gets his hand on a transponder snail, and he straight up tells his whole crew, like, no, sorry guys, I want to be the Pirate King. Have you guys ever had a dream that you wanted and you didn't want to let go of, and you didn't want to, you lost that part of your life, but now I'm going to give you the chance. Like, let's go and be pirates. Let's go claim the ultimate treasure. Let's go and claim the One Piece. I want to be the Pirate King. So Buggy yells this to his crew. His crew starts crying. They start chanting, Buggy, Buggy. They're going crazy. And then they show Crocodile and MIHAWK like, Buggy! And I love that so much that essentially Buggy has now literally failed upwards so hard that he can get beaten up by MIHAWK and Crocodile and still call the shots. Because that's literally what happened. Like, I'm sorry, MIHAWK. I'm sorry, Crocodile. You let Buggy call the shots and you got straight up duped. And now you're going to have to go, just like MIHAWK says, you expect me to fight Straw Hat, Red Hair, and Blackbeard? Obviously, there's a little bit of tension there. I also would not like to go toe-to-toe with 3 of the most deadly people to rise to power in recent fame. However, I feel like MIHAWK should have some big balls, right? Because he actually has like one of the highest bounties active right now. I can understand Crocodile being mad because he does not give a shit about the One Piece. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? He wants the ancient weapons, he wants military power, and he wants to make a utopia. MIHAWK wants to be the strongest swordsman and live alone, I guess. So really, it's their fault at this point. They have actually taken a step down because now Buggy is actually the boss. Beat him up all you want. He's still going to hop on the transponder snail. I got a Whitebeard transponder snail right here. He's still going to hop on this thing and go, listen up, guys. We're claiming the One Piece. F Crocodile. F MIHAWK. We are going to fight the 3 Yonkos. We're going to out-treasure them, and we're going to get the One Piece. I genuinely think that is the funniest thing I have ever seen. I absolutely love this chapter, even if I say it's not my favorite one this year. I think it was fantastic. Now we cut to Kamabaka Queendom, where we have 4 associates of the Revolutionary Army, each of, north, south, east, west, these like generals, right? There's like a mink that's like a cow, or a guy using a cow devil fruit. But we already saw a cow devil fruit at Impel Down, so I'm going to assume he's a cow mink. We have a girl with a robotic arm. I don't remember their names. I think the cow's name is like Ushirinu or whatever, but I'm not good with names right now. Then we have like an egg-shaped guy like a Humpty Dumpty ass dude, and his name's like Giamble, I think. That's the only one I remember because it made me laugh. And then there's a dude who looks like he's eating some sort of metal tube, and we'll get back to that in a second. So the four of them are watching this boat come up to the Kamabaka Queendom, and they're like, do you think this is an enemy ship? And the guy eating the metal tube is like, I actually think that's Sabo coming back from Lulusia Kingdom. And sure enough, he is correct. And they actually take a bet, and he bets like 1 million berries that it's going to be Sabo. And then they realize he was using binoculars, and that's the metal tube he was straight up eating. So I want to know what that guy is about and why he can eat metal in glass. It's a pretty big deal, right? Munch, munch fruit, eat your heart out, I guess. Sabo lands, and he has this like weird part, and it's a fan translated chapter, right? Golden Week in Japan and all that. But he's like, that's a Lulusian ship. I don't know why, just that standalone line. Like I get it. He was at Lulusia, and now we find out that he was actually on a ship. And this is, shout out to Grand Line Review, Liam. He's probably not gonna watch this, but he did state straight up, if you look at the lighting where Sabo is, you can tell he's outside of Lulusia, not currently there. So good on you, Liam. And yeah, he wasn't there. And he has the girl from Ace's cover story, Moda. Also, Bello Betty helped her, right, in her little stint when they introduced her during the Reverie. And they have joined the Revolutionary Army, some survivors of Lulusia. And who better to fight in the Revolutionary Army than people who just got their kingdom annihilated? Authentic Lulusians. They're now a thing of the past, technically, right? So these people are now their own, like they have to start over from square one. Like they can never lose sight of their heritage, because if they do, their heritage vanishes forever. So unless they don't care about being Lulusian, I find that to be so iconic, right? The island that got wiped off the map completely, some survivors are in the Revolutionary Army of all places. And like I love that. Oda, good job. That's so cool, man. And I gotta take my hat off for saving Moda. I think that is the most brilliant. Like if you think about it, she is a character who has gone through it and through it and through it and through it, and now she is in the Revolutionary Army where she rightfully belongs. Sabo goes to separate himself from the rest of the army and talk only to Ivankov and Dragon. And of course, we don't get anything out of this conversation other than like, oh, where were you, Sabo? And he explains like, I'm going to tell you everything that happened at Maryjois. So I guess 1083 will start with Sabo, or we'll finally cut back to Luffy. Because I think 4 chapters is like a really long time to be away from the current situation at Egghead Island, but I don't see it as a bad thing. Like, I like that the world building right now is all tying up nice loose ends. Oda's over here just stitching a blanket that was like missing pieces left and right? And it's funny, this is kind of like pun worthy, but it looks like at this point he's only got one piece left to sew in before we go back to the Straw Hats. So with that being said, I guess we are either going, like I said, the next chapter is going to either continue this Buggy storyline, it's going to start something new, or it's going to show us what Luffy is now up to in the Straw Hats in the current situation at Egghead Island. I don't think we're going to go back to the Hachinosu with Garp for a while, and I think that's going to be for good reason. That's just me. If we do go back, I'll be happy, because I've been loving that situation, right? But hey, fantastic chapter, and Oda is just swagging all over his own series, and I'm so happy to be a One Piece fan. This is insanely fun. I'm absolutely just loving this. So I've been Merch Hunter Ricky. That's the video, and I hope you all have a good one. Thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all.